Moli and Bholi contribute rupees 20,000 and 10,000 respectively towards capital. They decided to allow interest on capital at 6% per annum. Their respective share of profit is 2:3 and profit for the year is 1,500. Show the distribution of profits. Now in this sum it is said that there are two partners, Moli and Bholi. Each of them contributed capital of 20,000 and 10,000 respectively. Their share of profits is 2:3 and interest on capital is 6%. Okay, now in this sum we are only asked to show the distribution of profits. There are two cases. First one is when there is no agreement except for the interest on capital. Okay, when there's no agreement but there is an agreement except for interest on capital means there is an agreement with respect to only interest on capital. So interest on capital is to be provided at 6% here. And second one is when there is an agreement that the interest on capital is a charge. Now what do we mean by this term charge? Charge means compulsion. Okay, it is compulsory to give interest on capital to the partners. The entire amount of interest on capital is compulsory to be given to the partners irrespective of whether the firm earns a profit or a loss. That's the meaning of charge. Okay, now let's do the sum. What do we know in this sum? We know that there are two partners. One is Moli and the other one is Bholi. Okay, these are our two partners, Moli and Bholi. Now, what it says is that they had contributed capitals. Now, how much is the capital of each of them? Capital of Moli is 20,000 and capital of Bholi is 10,000. Now, interest on capital is 6% and the profit sharing ratio is 2:3. Okay, this is the profit ratio and the net profit is 1,500. These are the things that are given in the sum. We have to calculate the interest on capital. Simple. We can let's calculate the interest on capital. First for Moli it would be 20,000. We can calculate here 20,000 into 6%. 1,200, and for Bholi it would be 10,000 into 6% would be 600 rupees. This is our interest on capital. Now the next thing what they're saying is when there is no agreement except for the interest on capital. Now this interest on capital has to be distributed between the two partners. Okay, but there is a twist in this sum. Our net profit is only rupees 1,500, whereas interest on capital is 1,200 plus 600, it comes up to 1,800 is our interest on capital. When the firm has earned a profit of only rupees 1,500, can it pay rupees 1,800 to its partners as interest on capital? No, the firm has not got so much of money to pay interest on capital to its partners. The firm can pay a maximum interest on capital of only rupees 1,500 to its partners because it has made only so much of profit. Okay, this 1,800 cannot be paid to the partners. So now in such a case what will happen is that Moli and Bholi will be given this 1,500 as interest on capital. This entire net profit will be distributed to these two partners as interest on capital, but the ratio will not be 2:3. It's not going to be distributed in the profit sharing ratio. This 1,500 will be distributed to these two partners in the ratio of the interest on capital. Now let's find out the interest on capital ratio. The interest on capital is 1,200 and 600. So what is the ratio? We'll cut both the zeros here. 12:6 will become 2:1. So this is the ratio on which 1,500 is going to be divided between the two partners. So how much will Moli get? The new interest on capital that Moli is going to get is 1,500 divided by 3 will give us 500. So 1,000 and Bholi will get rupees 500. This is the interest on capital of the two partners. Okay, it's not going to be this because the firm has not got so much of money, has not made so much of profit to give this the original interest on capital. So they are going to give only the profit that the firm made as interest on capital. Okay, now part 2 of this sum. This is part 1. Okay, now part 2 of the sum. What does it say? It says that when there is an agreement that the interest on capital is a charge. Now, in the next case, interest on capital is a charge. Now, how much interest on capital did the two partners have to be paid? They have to be paid 1,200 and 600. Okay, but the firm can pay only 1,500 because this is the profit that the firm has made. Right. So the remaining amount of 1,800 minus 1,500 is 300. This remaining amount of 300 will be a loss, and this loss will also be distributed between the two partners. Okay, so now let's prepare. There's no account to be prepared for it. For our understanding, we can prepare it in an account form, but we'll do it in the plain sentence form itself. Okay, net profit is 1,500. Interest on capital for Moli is 1,200, and for Bholi is 600. So our total interest on capital is 1,800. Okay. So the remaining, see, out of 1,500, if we are giving 1,800 to the partners, obviously there's going to be a loss. How much is the loss? 300. This 300 rupees loss will also be distributed between the two partners in the ratio of the profits, in the profit sharing ratio of 2:3. So now loss on interest on capital. Moli. How much loss is Moli going to bear? 300 into 2 by 5 will give us 120. And for Bholi, it would be 300 into 3 by 5 would be 180. Okay, this is the loss on interest on capital, which is going to be also borne by the two partners.